Oh, I have to start.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, you fucking fool. Happy birthday. I'm not gonna do the whole thing because copyright. No, I'm kidding. No, actually, those rights are like anybody can have it now, right? Is that right?
Happy birthday?
Yeah, that song. I don't know. I read somewhere that like you don't need to get like licensing or permission for that or something. Cause
why would you need licensing for Happy Birthday?
Isn't that one of those copyrighted songs you still need to?
What?
You don't?
No.
Oh, I thought every movie still needed to like do that if they did that.
I've never even looked up the history of who wrote Happy Birthday, so but I mean it seems like such an old ass song because like, you know, if you want to use Tchaikovsky or maybe not Tchaikovsky, but yeah, like really old music, Mozart, you don't have to get you don't have to pay for the rights. If you compose it yourself, you can use it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
So I'm pretty sure you're clear to sing Happy Birthday, Rob, and you pretty much sang the whole thing.
Hey, I didn't sing the last note.
Hi, kids. It's Bitch I Ain't Scared, and it's a special episode because, you know, the fool is making another journey around the sun.
Yeah, 26.
Thanks.
It's pretty good.
You know.
Uh-huh.
Just ignore that. Yeah, it's been a good month so far. I was in San Diego this weekend, and played lots of video games at the Coin Op.
Was that your first time there?
It was my first time at the Coin Op. No, this is my second time in San Diego.
Okay.
But this time, you know, we actually, like last time I went, I was on the outskirts, somewhere kind of off. I don't know where it was. But this time we stayed in Hillcrest, and we went to the Gas Lamp District, and it was cool.
So there was no actual reason to go. It was just, let's go to San Francisco. Or San Diego, excuse me.
It's not about you yet, Rob.
I know.
I mean, it was for our birthdays.
Okay.
Since his birthday was in February. We were supposed to go last month, but we just couldn't. So this was sort of the in-between of ours celebrating our birthdays.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Cool. I think I've only gone once, and that was literally to go to the last day of Comic-Con last year. That's all I know. I'm sure San Diego offers a lot more stuff. One day I'll visit there again.
You should go to the Gas Lamp District. There's lots of great places to go and restaurants. They have like underground bars and shit. Like when you go down the stairs, I was like, I wonder what's down there. But also it seems like it'd be stuffy.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was fun. The gentleman we stayed at an Airbnb, he was very nice. He had cupcakes for us and a bottle of wine. So that was really nice.
That's cool. Yeah. Was it because of like the birthday thing, or do you think?
Yeah. Well, Mickey had sent a message saying, "So look, here's the deal. We're gay. We're interracial. If you have a problem with that, let me know right now, because I don't want to bullshit when I show up to your door." And he was like, "I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry that you even have to send this message to like see how someone's gonna react." But he's like, "I'm gay. I don't give a shit. Just don't expect me to bake you no cake." And then we get there and he has cupcakes.
Yeah.
I was like, that's really sweet. So yeah,
you never know, and there are stories.
Exactly.
So yeah,
exactly.
You gotta ask courtesy. We're not there yet, so
had a good time.
That's good. No, that's awesome. I'm trying to think, like this Coin Op place, was it like a penny for a game, or was it just like a regular arcade?
It was a regular arcade. I mean, some games were a quarter, some were 50 cents.
Yeah.
We played X-Men. It was fun. We played with some random. Like he hopped on and was like playing with us, and it was great. But then they got to the level where it's like you're walking on the path, but if you walk off, you'll fall off the fucking cliff. I was drunk. So I'm like, this is, and then I would like come back, but I would immediately fall off the cliff.
Do you remember who you played?
I was Nightcrawler. I probably would have been Storm, but Mickey was Storm. So
Of course, yeah, we got to fight for her. So, as always.
it's fine. I was like, if it's not her, it's Nightcrawler.
It's Nightcrawler. Agreed.
But it was fun. It was good. And then we got to the, what's her name? Emma Frost. And, you know, we were like all out of our special powers, and that bitch killed us. So, hey, it was still fun. And didn't play any of the pinball machines, but I was just like, look at that.
I know, yeah. Well, they have an arcade downtown, and I've been to that one, and that one's pretty fun. They have
82, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went for one of my friend's birthdays last year, but I didn't play anything. I didn't even drink.
Go back there. That was fun.
I think it would be a fun night out, just playing video games and drinking. It's cool.
Yeah.
You know. What else? I don't know. How was your weekend, Rob? You went somewhere.
I did. I went to the other San. I went to San Francisco. Jose. I know, you would. No, I went to San Francisco. I allow myself a couple of passes to go to San Francisco on a whim. Mm-hmm. And it's specifically for a show that this drag queen known as Peaches Christ, she travels around the U.S. all the time, sometimes to the U.K., and she takes these cult classic movies. Most of the time, these are movies that are loved by gays, but they're not necessarily gay movies. They just have some kind of like following. And I allowed myself, I think, 5 on my list. I don't care what I'm doing. I don't care how much it costs. I am flying to go see her because she doesn't come to LA with her shows that often. She's starting to create that LA fan base now. Yeah. But there's nothing good. I mean, not nothing good, but there's nothing better than going to where it originates from. That she always starts her shows in San Francisco, and the crowd is amazing. And so this time around, she did one of my favorite movies, which is Death Becomes Her. And she'll usually incorporate RuPaul Drag Race alums to do some of the parts. So for this one, she grabbed the 2 Seattle queens, Jinx Monsoon and Ben de la Creme, who I absolutely love, and the 3 of them did Hocus Pocus together. So it was like a reunited family to begin with. So I was like, I'm flying, I don't care, I'm going. So I went overnight, well, technically Friday night, but I didn't get there till after midnight. And I just spent the day kind of exploring. I had Rigo with me, and then that evening was the show, and it was freaking hilarious. They usually just take the outline of the movie, incorporate all the favorite parts, but then the script is completely rewritten to fit our demographic. And they'll sometimes have inside jokes to RuPaul's Drag Race. And Ben de la Creme, who was on All Stars, just went through something like heavy on the show. So clearly they incorporated all of that in the show, and everybody was dying, and it was funny and loved it. So we did that and went out and, you know, had a good time. So, and then you saw my picture about the fog.
Yes, yeah, I did.
Yeah, it got so it was either the fog or I was going to do a Silent Hill joke, but I just went with the fog instead. It was just easier.
So funny. Well, because it was raining in San Diego, and then I saw your picture and I was like, God, why did we have weather like this when we went out of town?
I know, everybody went out of town and we just got... So Sunday actually ended up being better. The weather kept
Sunday was beautiful.
In the forecast, and then eventually I woke up and it was like around 10 or 11, sun was just out. Yeah. So we lucked out on that, and we did a couple of things in the afternoon now that it was sunnier. So yeah, that was fun. And there are a couple more movies that she has not done yet, so when she does them, I'm going to go. But anyone who is interested, Peaches Christ, if you're listening, I'm plugging your show right now because you're just that awesome. She is going to be in LA with the same show, with the same cast, minus the drag queen who plays Ernest Menville. Her name's Heclina. She doesn't travel outside of San Francisco, so they pick somebody else to do the LA show, the Seattle show, and the Portland show. But she'll be in LA for 2 nights. That's more nights than San Francisco got. And it's April 28th and 29th. They're usually 8 p.m. and 10:30 shows. I would definitely check for tickets. It's playing at the Montalban Theater that's over on Vine. I recommend this, and if you've seen Death Becomes Her, it's just hilarious how they incorporate the special effects scenes.
Oh yeah,
that whole battle scene is genius. They're so good.
Curious.
It's amazing. I wish I had taken a video for you, but you can easily find it online because tons of people took videos and they are just sharing it and reposting on Instagram. But
that's cool.
I had a good time there. It was fun. Yeah, and then I just told you about another show that's going to be there. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, epic cult classic movie, but they are actually incorporating a full live orchestra to do the score. I think that's a really good idea, but this movie does not warrant the price that they're asking for these tickets. I went to Nightmare Before Christmas at the Hollywood Bowl for like $34.
Right. Yeah.
And this small ass theater, not to hate, is charging $79 to even sit up in balcony.
Yeah.
But hey, if you love the score that much, go check it out. That's on May 19th. Yeah. So there you have that.
Good luck.
I actually would go to see stuff like that. And I love when they take movies and we can like live, hear the score.
No, that's really cool. Awesome. But like you're saying, how the Hollywood Bowl only charges half of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, anyway, last week I shared an article about the Charmed reboot.
Yes.
I'm very excited now. But over the weekend I did have a conversation with Mickey. We were at some gay restaurant. I don't know. It's called Moe's. It was good.
Yeah.
And you could request music videos. So they had TVs all around the room so you could like text in your request.
Okay.
The DJ would be like, "Okay, I'll get to it in a minute." It's like, "Oh, he actually responded."
Nice.
So we stayed for Poison, and then we left. But he was like, "Yeah," he's like, "It's great." And he said, "But also, they're supposed to be like," he said, "I read an article where the cast they're Afro-Latinas, but none of them really look like they are Afro-Latinas." So he's like, and that was brought about because the music video for Bruno Mars and Cardi B, that song, whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, if you notice, like pretty much everybody in this video is very light skinned except for the one girl, and then they show the band in the background, and I was like, oh no, I guess I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, and he said, I mean, it's the same thing with the new Charmed reboot. I'm really excited that they're Latina, but he's like, they're supposed to be Afro-Latina and they're all really light skinned, so it's like, I don't know. So I was like, okay, what's an interesting point?
So, for those who are listening that don't know the term Afro-Latina, and before I say something stupid, explain what that is.
Well, I think a lot of people don't even think about the Latin community as being more than someone who appears to be Mexican.
Yes.
I'm like doing air quotes. And even when you look at Telemundo or any Spanish-speaking channel where they have telenovelas and things like that, all of the main characters look like me. They're all Latino or Latina, they're Latinx, however you want to describe them. They are blonde or red-haired, they have lighter skin, and then the maid comes in and has darker features.
Gotcha.
And they don't even represent like an Afro-Latina as the maid in these situations. They don't exist. So like you have maybe some people have heard of Amara Negra, who I think came from one of the Love and Hip Hop shows, and how people were saying like, why is it so important for you to be both? She's like, I'm an Afro-Latina. I'm a black woman, but I am Latina. I'm from the Dominican Republic, and I'm claiming both. I'm like, well, why do you have to claim both? I mean, you're just be Latina, or just be this, or just be that. And it's like, well, no, she's both. And when it comes to being Afro-Latina, it doesn't mean that you aren't lighter skinned. It doesn't mean that you don't have a certain type of hair. Just if you're in America, within the black community, black men and women all look different. They have different shades of color, of skin tone, hair, whatever. It's the same in the Latino community because it's a very diverse culture, and that's something that's overlooked. So to have Charmed be rebooted, and it's very exciting, and I'm still very excited for it, and then to incorporate 3 Afro-Latinas who are still showing that one shade of brown very light shade of brown. It's still feeding into the colorism that is on TV.
Okay.
So sorry for the long explanation, kid, but you gotta learn something.
It's fine. Yeah, I was running around talking about this Charm reboot, and nobody gave a shit what I had to say until they announced the fact that they were Latina, and I was like, "Yay for diversity!" But it's fucking Charm. Charm's getting rebooted. We're getting, a new story, and they're starting over. I don't think it's a connected story.
I don't think so.
So we may not. I mean, if we do see the originals, then they're playing different parts. I don't think they want to have anything.
And
to do
I saw
with
that. I mean, I don't know how the others have felt, but I know that Piper, that Holly Marie Combs is not happy.
But here's the thing. She said that when that whole it's going to start in the 60s bullshit came out, and it had nothing to do with this current plot and handling of the characters. So she wasn't happy with what they were doing before. I think the same producer from Jane the Virgin was going to do it.
Yeah, I think she still is.
But I think they took it out of the 60s and they made it present day.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's present day now. We're going to be dealing with shit that's going on right now. Yeah. I think the middle sister is going to be lesbian as well as an activist, so that's awesome. And I love Jane the Virgin. I don't expect it to be anything like that, but what I do notice that the producer puts in there is that she has a Spanish-speaking abuela who barely says 2 words of English. Like, her whole entire script is in her native language, and they have subtitles.
That's nice.
I'm not saying that this show has to do that, but I think the representation is there.
Yeah.
And so this executive producer, and I'm sorry I don't know her name at the moment, but she obviously knows what's important as far as incorporating the ethnicity of these characters and make sure that's a big part of the show. And so I'm actually really curious. And I have a feeling this is also on the CW. So with shows like Riverdale and Supernatural and I'll even say even Vampire Diaries and Originals, they have a very good opportunity to go super dark and heavy. And not to hate on Charmed is literally one of my top 3 shows of all time, and it is the whimsical happy comedic show, and I love it for that. Nothing wrong with it, but you have an opportunity to take the plot but do something different.
Yeah.
You don't have to make it the same.
And I don't think we want to see it.
I don't want to see the same either. So, you know.
And for me personally, I loved the first 3 seasons of Charmed. And it was still whimsical.
No, they got dark.
But it was darker in the beginning, and then it got really
They were having a lot of fun.
They just did what they wanted to do.
They had a lot of fun in the later seasons. And, some of the danger, while the stakes were kind of high, they visually it just wasn't that heavy, and I get it. That show is good for its own reasons, but this show, now that we've got an audience who can see a lot of death and heavy topics, there's a lot of sex being depicted on TV now. We're more mature. We can handle it, and I hope that Charm goes that route, because Jane the Virgin is they deal with some good stuff and murder, mystery, and suspense, but they're still on this high happy-go-lucky spectrum, and I need Charm to be the opposite.
I hope it is. I really do. And also, her name is Jenny Snyder Ehrman. That's the head of Jane the Virgin.
Okay.
But I didn't know much about it before. The last time that we talked about it was probably around the holidays, and that's when it was supposed to be the 60s or 70s, and we had no idea who was going to be involved or anything. So it was just sort of confusing. But I'm excited, and I love witches, and we need more brown witches on TV.
I'm just curious what their powers are going to be, and I don't know how close to the original material, but I'm excited to just have another witch show on TV. We didn't have too much luck with Secret Circle, unfortunately, and then there are witches who pop up every now and then on the vampire shows, but we have so many of those. Let's bring back the witches now, especially definitely for primetime TV as well. Yay for Salem, And
Yeah.
I think that's still on, or is it
No,
gone?
it's canceled.
Okay.
It only lasted 3 seasons. And
But yeah, Witch of the
people
East
didn't get
End
into
gone.
it.
Like, we need to bring them back up.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited, and I hope they actually have different powers.
I know. I want them to have different powers too.
Yeah, I think it would only make sense because it's a different group of women, and they're dealing with different problems from their own lives and their community. So,
But this is how you reboot a show. I
Yeah.
mean, like, I don't mind that they're calling it Charmed and they want to go with the format. But yeah, I do need to see a difference. I don't want it to be plagiarized. I want something. And
I mean,
so
I'm
fingers crossed.
sad that Holly Marie Combs is not happy with it. Maybe that'll change, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. So a couple weeks ago, we went to a premiere.
Yes.
And it was, this is my first premiere that I've ever attended, I think.
This is my second.
I mean, I went to a premiere for a movie that I was in, but this is like my first like red carpet premiere type deal. So, what did we go see, Rob?
We saw Uncorked Entertainment's The Lullaby.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, The Lullaby is a movie that has to deal with a mom who just gave birth to her first child, and she starts suffering from postpartum depression, and she ends up going back home to her hometown, living with her mom while she kind of handles her emotions. And while she's there is this sort of like urban legend or sort of ritual of this cult who steals newborn babies or something like that and sacrifices them to their devil or god or whoever. And this mom is being haunted by this woman in black who sort of represents the leader of this cult. And she believes that this ghost or apparition is trying to steal her kid. But at the same time, during her postpartum, she's also having these impure thoughts of hurting her baby herself. So she's very struggling with having to be a new mom and protect the baby, but then also making sure she doesn't hurt the baby herself. And then you add on her very dysfunctional relationship with her own mother, who has a past of herself when she was raising her. So there's just all these heavy avenues. And it's a horror movie. And it's directed by Daryl Root, R-O-D-D-T. I've never heard of this director before, have you?
Well, so this movie is an export from South Africa.
Yes.
And that's probably why we've never heard of him. And also the cult thing, it wasn't really a cult, I don't think. So in the beginning, they give us this introduction to, at some point in history, the English occupied this town. And so where did white South Africans come from? Were they Danish originally?
Yeah.
Okay, these Danish people were occupied by the British during some war. And apparently they raped all of the women, and they killed the children, and anytime a woman would get pregnant, they would kill the baby because they didn't want to like mix their pure English bloodlines with these Danish people. So that was what we saw at the beginning, where the woman
caught more than I did. Okay,
she killed the baby at the beginning. That was pretty graphic.
The movie started off super strong,
but that didn't really feel connected when they introduced us to that story. And yes, there's like this legend and this history in the town, and it really happened. It just didn't.
It took a back seat, to be honest. I mean, this woman would pop up every now and then to give us a scare, but it didn't really connect the story in any way to what she was going through.
Yeah.
And the ghost really didn't do anything. She might as well have just been like a hologram. And the mom had a lot of dream sequences as well. So then it was like, well, are you only showing up in her dreams? Are you only going to appear for real at the end? Like,
so this movie was highly frustrating. I will say that the actors did a great job.
They did.
I think that they were all very believable, but there were some choices that were kind of odd. The psychiatrist character, I'm not sure what was going on with him. He was like creepy for no reason. He
like a very wasted opportunity to give this character this creepy voice and demeanor and the way that he was trying to act all mysterious, and yet
but nothing.
Didn't really do anything. It didn't really heighten the scene whatsoever with his creepy. Like it was
like, I don't know. It was just weird. And then the ghost. Mm-hmm. Was it a ghost? Or was she crazy? Was she really like, her postpartum had like made her snap? And of course it's like her mother's kind of crazy too. So has she inherited something from her mother? That whole ending sequence where it was like, was her mother there or was she not? Because then her mother was like, I found the baby alone. And it's like, we just saw you running with the baby. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
So the writing really kind of like went somewhere. I don't know if somebody wrote 5 different drafts and then was like, let's just use all elements from each draft. It was just confusing. Even that final shot of the movie, I was like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
What just happened?
No, there was a lot of creepy and cringeworthy sequences, especially during her dreams. Like, they would just show her mutilating herself or pretending to hurt the baby.
Yeah.
And you even find out, like, the baby daddy and why he's not even in the picture. And so that gives us more of an explanation as to why she's super depressed. But yeah, they made the movie super dark, and again they tried to like gross us out with these special effects and these like body mutilating and tons of blood, but it wasn't backed with a story or a reason for these gross out parts. So again, we're a lot smarter to give a shit.
Yeah.
We don't, we can't really get super excited by just seeing scare after scare after scare. There has to be some reason by it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought the opportunity to go to this like red carpet event was pretty fun. We went to a theater that we hadn't been to before, and it was nice to see the cast and crew there enjoying themselves and getting all dolled up and dressed up, and that was fun. And it was nice to be chosen to like go to a
pretty sure we saw some lesbian love happening like 5 rows ahead.
Oh yeah, that was cute. That was So Daryl Root, I actually looked him up. So do you remember the movie Dangerous Ground with Ice Cube?
I do remember that title, but I don't know if I saw it.
Okay, so he directed that, and he directed Dracula 3000.
Okay, well I saw 2000. I didn't get all the way to 3000. Sorry.
I know.
All right, so I'm familiar with some of his work, sort of.
Yeah.
All right, Daryl.
I know.
But is he South African? Or
I don't know. It doesn't necessarily. He's Johannesburg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So.
And I was like, I'm not trying to shit all over the movie. I'm really not. It was just. It was just a very frustrating experience, and the ghost did like. There were a lot of good things. Like the ghost was creepy. Or whatever, the apparition, the way that she was dressed, the makeup, the way that she was shot, the movements, the constant like shh, it was great. But then you didn't really know what to do with her. You would try to give us these jump scares, but they didn't really make me jump. And I was super exhausted. I almost fell asleep. Because halfway through the movie, I was like, "There's a lull and nothing's happening except this bitch keeps like reaching out of the dishwater," and I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just chalked it up to where I was saying, like, this legend, this, past that they showed us with this woman and how she, steals babies or whatever, like, that wasn't really the message of the story. I think it had to do with this mother-daughter relationship and how postpartum depression can give you, this mode of uncertainty when it comes to your baby, and the shit happens, and it for first time mothers it could be like a very hard thing, and I think that was where the story was trying to go, and the horror element was just this second fiddle thing.
But I think once it went there and it revealed everything to us, like why she chose to leave her mother, and then what happened to her after she left, and how she got pregnant, and it all like came really fast, and it just was too much. It wasn't done right. In my opinion. And then the whole it's like double rape back to back, and then I really was kind of annoyed. I was like, why did this character, I don't know, I just didn't feel, I mean, it's like, sure, boys fucking suck, and this is not impossible, but I was like, why all of a sudden did this boy decide he wants to rape her after it's like she's upset, and I don't know, it was just too much. And then revealing like the mother, like after like where it's like that quick clip of her watching her mother go off on a date and she looks mad, and it was like, what's happening here? Like this little bit of backstory I don't even need now at this point.
I think what she was trying to do is sort of pay, like, what's the word I'm thinking of? I guess she tried to forgive herself by making sure that this newborn baby, her grandchild, was taken care of properly because she failed as a mother. Well, yeah, and I think she was just very overprotective for this one. Random
clip I am referring to. So, spoiler alert. Sorry if you're gonna watch this movie. So this is after she kills her mother.
Yeah.
And then it's her like remembering her, tucking her in, and then she looks out the window and her mom's like, peace, I'm going on a date, and she's giving her like this mean look back through the window, and I'm like, why are you showing us this now? She's dead. We know that they had a shitty ass relationship. We know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, again, congratulations. I still haven't made a movie, so take this all with a grain of salt. But
The Lullaby, 2018, currently on video on demand. Watch it. I mean,
I can't recommend that you watch it, but
no,
do what you got to do.
I was just joking, but yeah, I mean.
Oh, I thought it really was on video on demand.
No, it is.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it is on video on demand. Like I think it went to limited release, but
check it out if you want.
Yeah.
But be warned. It's lackluster. So. Hey, keeping with our international theme this month. And it wasn't even on purpose.
Yeah.
That happened before we chose it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Serendipitous. Wait a minute.
Speaking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the other half of our sort of highly anticipated Netflix horror. I watched Ravenous.
Yes.
And I liked Ravenous.
It looked good.
It got a little artsy abstract, very Vanguard, not Vanguard, maybe that's the word I'm thinking of.
Probably.
Yes. Avant-garde, that's what I was thinking
Avant-garde.
of. Avant-garde, excuse me. It got a little weird towards the end, but overall I thought that their take on the zombie horror genre was interesting. The people who were, I guess, infected or changed, we never got an origin.
I like that sometimes.
Yeah, it just kind of happened.
I feel like that's how most zombie movies are. Except for like 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
That's the only one we really get a clear,
reason. But with this one, you are kind of just put in the middle of it, and it focuses on I think 5 or 6 specific civilians who haven't changed, and they kind of keep them all separated towards the beginning and then meet in a neutral location towards the middle, and then they stick together, sort of Walking Dead style.
So they're like showing their stories.
Exactly.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Move along. And all the characters were interesting. They didn't really show too much backstory, but we were given a reason as to why they are, in the current position that they're in, whether they're alone or with someone, yada yada. But the so-called zombies, they were filmed in a very creepy way. They would have them sort of standing still in this trance, and they would just stare at you.
Ew.
For no reason, and like attack when you least expect it. I think they were conscious, but also sort of hypnotized in a way. And if you decide to watch the film, you'll see what I'm talking about. Their attacks were executed with a plan. There were traps set up. People were hiding in certain areas. And then you kind of throw in this sort of Body Snatchers vibe when they would have their signature
definitely
yell.
Got that, yeah.
They had their signature yell that would call on folks, and they ran like crazy. And, they went for the flesh and all that stuff, so they were definitely ravenous for human skin. You get bit. You don't change instantly, but you do change. So it's something that's in the blood. But throughout the movie, you notice that they were building these towers using furniture and appliances and anything they can get their hands on, and then they would just like worship it as if it was some kind of god. It was really, really weird, but it was an interesting aspect that added to the story without really revealing too much. We unfortunately don't get a reason why all of this went down, but the main focus of this movie is just survival.
You know what it reminded me of when I saw the trailer? It reminded me of It Comes at Night.
Yes. I can see a little bit of that for sure.
I feel like maybe this will be what I didn't get from It Comes at Night.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a beautifully shot film and, you know, well acted, but it was just like, it wasn't so much like The Lullaby where I was like,
yeah,
what the fuck?
Yeah.
But it was like me scratching my head like, I'm not sure what just happened. But so Ravenous looks kind of like that same sort of scenario, but there's a very active thing happening.
Active. And this is another thing that I really liked about this movie, and this is the scare tactics. They barely had any musical score. So, you know, the music that leads you into that suspense and sort of gears you into something creepy going on. They love doing these pan long shots where the camera doesn't even move. You just stare and you're just waiting for something to either pop up, reveal himself, whatever. But there was no music. So when shit hit the fan or if there was a jump scare, that was it.
Oh.
You could be happy.
I love that.
You could get like a very resting, like sort of safe scene where they were just driving or whatever, and then bam.
I like that.
And you get no music. It was done so well, and they got me a couple of times.
That's good, because I hate music stings. I hate them. I hate them so much.
And another thing was they actually had a little bit of humor in this. I was really shocked by this. It made me laugh twice, and I think the scene was meant to make you laugh. And I didn't really expect that from this film. But yeah, this was filmed in Quebec, so it's Canadian horror, but it is French audio with subtitles. It's currently on Netflix. I thought it was good.
It looks good. I'm definitely going to check it out.
There is one thing that you will ultimate hate, and it happens in the beginning. It pissed me off so much.
Oh. Does it deal with a character of a certain...
It's my bitch, really, so we will get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I also took a little dip into the international market, and I watched Veronica, which is also on Netflix right now. It was decent. So it's... I don't know how to say it. It's based on actual police documents.
Okay.
An actual police report that was redacted because I don't know if the church got involved and said, no, we cannot have this out there. But this happened in 1991 in Spain. And it's about a 15-year-old girl. Her name is Veronica. And she has 3 younger siblings, 2 twin girls and a little boy. And she's basically like their primary caregiver because the mother is always at work.
Okay.
So, I mean, she brings in money, but she's never there. So she's responsible for these kids. And then when she goes to school one day, there's going to be this solar eclipse. And it was really cool foreshadowing because in her like history class, the nun is telling them about solar eclipses because they're about to have one, and how in ancient times, solar eclipses were sort of seen as like a time where like bad things could happen. Yeah. Because darkness is like covering the sun. And they said like a lot of ancient civilizations like the Mayans, they would use that time for sacrifices, for human sacrifice.
Yeah, there usually was talk of like a veil being unwrapped, and this was the time where like the line between like heaven and hell or whatever would combine, and you could, you know, roam free or whatnot. So I totally get that.
So instead of going to view the eclipse with the rest of the school, they're all up on the roof, she goes to the basement with her friend and then this other little girl that she was like, why'd you invite her? I wanted to be you and me. But she comes, so there's 3 of them, and they decide to like use a Ouija board and have a seance because she wants to talk to her father who passed away. And of course, as these things usually tend to go, she doesn't end up talking to her dad. She ends up talking to somebody else that she didn't want to talk to. And, you know, she gets followed around for the rest of the movie.
Oh, man.
So, she, after the seance, I mean, something happens to her where she's sort of like, she passes out, her friends are freaked out, and they don't really want to talk to her. And when she goes home, she hears things, she sees things, she sees this entity going after her siblings, and she keeps like drawing these runes to protect them. She has all of these like little occult magazines. I don't know what happened in 1991. Also, the music was great because it was very like, this was a period piece.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's like very early 90s, so it still sounds like the 80s.
Okay.
So everything was like 80s music. But I appreciated that. And the girls, their hair. Oh my God. The one girl, I was like, yes, you are from 1991. You look like you're on one of those like health books. You remember those?
Oh my God, yes, I do.
Those kids. Oh God, they look terrible. It was well shot. It was very creepy. Well acted. The kids were really good. The little ones, they were so, oh my God. This line where this girl, she was like, she's copying off of me. She's like, stop copying off of her. It's like, you hear that? Stop copying off of me. And the other one was like, you are such a piece of work. So it was very entertaining. You definitely felt for these characters, and had some good scares.
Oh, okay, good.
A lot of them were like, the typical like nightmare. It's like, oh, she's sleeping.
Yeah.
Fucking Gennaro walked through and he's like, she's sleeping. And I was like, go away. And then she woke up. I was like,
yeah, get
out of here. I'm trying to watch this. But she fought her ass off trying to protect these kids. It was, I wouldn't say it was that surprising.
Okay.
And maybe, we have seen a lot of these movies where people summon something through a Ouija board or a fucking piece of glass. I don't know. A cookie cutter. Whatever's handy. So you can kind of see how this is going to go. It does give you some hints where it's like, I think I know what's going to happen.
Okay.
But it's still very creepy, especially knowing that it is based on something that an actual police officer saw. And this was the first time that a police officer included something in their report that was supernatural. Like they could not explain it.
Yeah.
But then they redacted the file because they're like, we're not dealing with this. So, yeah.
Would you recommend this? Is this something
I would still say watch it.
Okay.
I would still say check it out. It's kind of a slow burn. It's not going to be like the scariest thing you've ever seen. But as far as acting and some pretty subtle, like, it has some things too where it's like there's no music, but you see something, and I was like,
you're just waiting. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, that was a really good transition.
Yeah. No, I'm totally down.
Yeah.
I do plan on watching this before the month's end. I do want to see it, especially just reading about it. It's so under the radar, and it's just something that Netflix just puts on there. And then when you just see other articles mention it, like, give it a shot. So yeah. I plan on watching it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I saw Annihilation finally.
Yeah.
So I remember a couple episodes back, I told you, because we were talking about like Black Panther, it came out sort of the same weekend, and Annihilation just got annihilated.
Yeah.
Didn't make too much money.
But it's got really good reviews.
Yeah. The fan critics haven't really rated this very well.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a story, it's got a reason to be, but a lot of people are just saying it's not really as worth it, especially following up the Oscar-nominated Ex Machina. So, let me just say this. More than half the cast is women. Praise. Yes. Very good. They picked great actresses. Gina Rodriguez, God, give me more of her.
She looks like it's a nice departure from
lesbian.
Jane the Virgin.
She played lesbian. Yeah, she played complete opposite than what we see on TV. Now, I didn't watch that other movie she was in with Mark Wahlberg, and they get stuck under that little drill thing. and like the oil thing explodes. Like
I didn't even know she was in.
Oh, she was in. I think she was.
I've never heard of this.
Oh, it's called Deep something. I have to look it up. Deep Water or something.
Have to check it out.
But anyway, so okay. Do you remember Deep Blue Sea, where that one Latina lady was in the control booth and speaking, and then
poor Sandra.
That was Jane in this movie. I didn't watch it. I don't think she died that quickly. I have a feeling she probably bit it, but I haven't seen the movie. But when watching the trailer, that's how I see her character.
Oh, I see.
Because she's not deep in the middle. I was
talking about Annihilation. I was like, what?
No. I'm just talking about the other movie. Okay. But in this movie, oh my God, like she delivers more, most of the funniest lines. She has more of a emotional breakthrough when it comes to her character. Like she's just given a lot to do.
Nice.
But like she plays a lesbian. She's super tough. She can handle herself. Like I just loved her. Her.
Just that little bit they showed in the trailer, I was like, oh my God, she looks so good. She looks like she's killing it.
And Tessa Thompson, who just came off from a brilliant comedic role in Thor.
Yeah.
And she was tough as nails. She played the very introverted, sweet, quiet one who has demons that she's dealing with. So that was a versatile role for her that I loved her in.
Nice.
And Jennifer Jason Leigh, I'm sorry, I can't with her. I just can't with her.
We don't even have to. We don't even have to.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't even think you were going to mention it.
Oh. Anyways, so the five of them go into this, what they call the Shimmer. And it's this sort of rainbow colored, transparent like barrier that has secluded this certain part of the woods in some city or whatever. No one's around it, but they notice that the Shimmer is getting bigger and wider.
I think I remember hearing that.
And they've sent people in, many groups. Nobody's come out to tell the tale. So they decided instead of men, they're going to send women. And not only that, they're going to send smart women in. Women who obviously are, experts in biology and technology and just all these things that they need to capture data and make it back out. And the goal is to reach this specific spot where a meteor or something fell out of the sky and hit this lighthouse. And that's where it all started. That's ground zero.
Okay.
And Natalie Portman is leading this. Well, not leading it, but she obviously takes front and center because she's the star of the movie, based on the fact that her husband, alum of Alex Garland, Oscar Isaac, he went in, came back, and got really affected by what happened to him inside. So she needs to go in there and figure out what the fuck happened to solve it and maybe help him. So you get in there and you just see all of these different things. Of course, from the trailer, everything's pretty whimsical. You see these different animals and mixtures of things. Let's just say that the movie had some really heavy, suspenseful parts. It was scary. I did jump a couple of times. But honestly, this was like a rated R version of the Wuggles.
Of the Wuggles?
Do you remember the Wuggles?
What the fuck is that?
The Wuggles is this old school 80s cartoon about like animals who mix.
Those.
Yes. That's basically what this movie was.
The Wuzzles.
Wuzzles, excuse me.
The Wuzzles.
Yes, the Wuzzles.
I like the Wuzzles.
That was the Wuggles. Okay, yeah, the Wuzzles. So yeah, it was basically just the Wuzzles live action, rated R.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
The action sequences, the beautiful special effects and shots that they did in this forest were gorgeous. It was great. A lot of the scare tactics were done very well. I think anytime things were attacked, that was a whole It Comes at Night sort of okay. Like pacing with it. They kept you, like, the mystery was top notch. They didn't want to let you in on anything. But the writing and the execution, the dialogue, just poor.
Oh. It
was so poor. It just dragged and dragged and dragged. Some of these scenes and these like one-on-one conversations were just so, it just felt very amateur. I've never read the book, so I don't know how the dialogue is in the movie. I mean, in the book, but it was just boring to listen to these people talk. It was like, just shut up, get your guns out, and just start moving, because I can't take y'all talking anymore. It's just, I can't. It just got really weird.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I walked out of this movie so intrigued to know what the fuck was going on. They gave you so much to think about. It was almost like Mother in a way. It just has this heavy underlining meaning to it, just like McKenna did. You saw this movie. Tell me what you got from it as far as the message. What did you think this movie was trying to tell you?
Ex Machina?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, that movie was it was a heavy hitter. Mm-hmm. Like, I would say that movie's probably like, don't fuck with shit that you don't really understand. Don't try to like improve upon something that doesn't need to be improved upon, or I mean, don't. And at the same time, it's like, if you're gonna do this, don't try to control it.
Yeah,
let it go, because obviously we see what happened in that movie to those two characters. I mean, one kind of deserved it. The other one, I don't know. It's like, did he deserve that? Would he have tried to control her? Here's
the thing with that, and I'm sure there's different interpretations you can make with this movie, but it touched heavy on masculinity versus femininity. There was a huge misogyny going on men just being in charge of women. There was also a huge God complex with this, and also the role of what a woman is to play. Now, like you said, we question, did the other guy deserve what he got? And I wouldn't say that he's a full-hearted villain. I just think, as a man by nature, he probably would have treated her as like somebody who needs to be saved.
Right.
And I think that is the message, is like, you can't look at women in just this one eye view, and that they're smarter than you think, if not already smarter than us in general. It's just, we don't view them as that, and that will fuck you up.
Right.
And so this movie sort of did the same thing. It tried to use our way of life as a way of like questioning, is this not necessarily the right or wrong way to do it, but is it the only way to have things? And because we're so used to the way things are, any change is considered a destruction or a negativity to our way of life and nature and the laws of nature. And I find that to be super fascinating. But again, I walked out not knowing what the hell this movie was trying to tell me, though. It was very confusing. The ending was open-ended, and it didn't need to be as long as it was. Also, they tried to use flashbacks to give us a little backstory. I thought almost every single flashback was a waste of time. I didn't need them, and it didn't enhance the end, because I still didn't know what the hell the ending was.
Remember that movie with Amy Adams that came out a couple years ago?
Nocturnal Animals?
Arrival.
Oh, Arrival. I never saw Arrival.
Oh, I was going to say, because it does a lot of that, where it's like, but it's, well, if you didn't see it, I don't know.
Well, no, I totally get it. And
but it was like, what's happening?
Yeah. And this is why to this day I haven't seen it, because I get that from the trailer. It just reminds me of Contact, and I was told it's nothing like that, but it still gives me this vibe like it's not really going to give me what I want. But yeah, like I said, I'm super intrigued with the messaging of this story and what they're trying to tell us, because there's this dialogue that Natalie Portman says at the end, and she kind of just questions how we view things that change in our world. And she goes, did it attack you? Like, what was it trying to do? And honestly, it was like, it didn't attack me. It was, I mean, I don't want to say too much, but like everything that she said, it sort of made the shimmer and what was going on inside non-threatening. It was threatening because it tried to change our way of life, and we just don't like change.
Right.
And you can, and I walked out of this and I was telling Rigo, I go, it may not be sort of the same thing, but just look at the sort of simple way of how we deal with gender. there's a man, there's a woman, there are men parts, there are woman parts. The Bible says this, biology says this, that's it. And then you've got people who are trans now and gender, binary. Like, they're not really conforming to what we are used to for so many years. And when you see a change, it's usually considered as a negative. It's not meant to be embraced or considered evolution or anything like that. And I think when you watch this movie, you'll think, well, yeah, this is destroying our life, our way of life, because people are dying and yada yada. But then you walk out and you're like, did it really do that? So the movie was interesting. It just was executed just poorly. And I think that's why a lot of people are walking out really disappointed, because it was, one, advertised to be a huge suspenseful thriller, and while it was a thriller, it just was a little bit boring.
Okay.
So
I saw that it was based on a trilogy of books, so maybe that's why it was open-ended.
Hey, if we get a sequel, I'm going, because the way it did end, yes, I would like to know more, but I can't walk out liking the movie if I'm not satisfied with what I saw.
Well, I'm still curious to see it, but I still got other things to say, so,
Yeah, and that's the other thing, too. As it wasn't really my favorite, I don't think it'll be as of a hit as far as, like, Oscars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I still recommend this movie.
No.
It wasn't, like, a horrible movie. It just wasn't the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get into the end...
Okay.
This has nothing to do with the horror genre or anything. This is more of a birthday request.
Cool.
And I did make it earlier, so maybe you've already seen it, but I wanted to extend it to our A Bitch I Ain't Scared family. So there's a GoFundMe for a gentleman. His name is Richard Cortez. And he has a very rare chronic disease. It's called hydronephrosis. You know what? It doesn't really matter what it's called. But it's caused him a lot of health issues for probably a decade. He's had to have multiple surgeries over and over again. And right now he's in the hospital. He can't afford the surgeries anymore. He can't afford, because there's a cap on the health care that he was receiving, so those funds are gone. He doesn't have any money anymore, and he's going to lose his car. So he's in the hospital right now, and this isn't someone that I know personally. I have met him once in passing. He's a very nice guy, but as my birthday request, people are asking me, like, what do I want for my birthday? And this is something that I would like people to do. If you can go to the GoFundMe, and I will share this on our page, if that's all right with you, Rob.
Yeah, of course.
And just donate whatever you can, $1, $5, whatever. It sucks that he's in this situation, and he doesn't really have any support. So hopefully some of you will be able to help out.
That's very generous of you. Yes, definitely post that on that page. And I'll do my best to donate something too. It sucks to not have the type of financial support that you need to just fucking live. So I totally get that. That's sorry to hear. Sad to hear.
But back to wrapping this shit up. I don't think I really have anything else to say. I really thought I did, but I don't. Mm-hmm. Per the usual.
Well, anything that you think of, we'll cover next week. Join us next week for sort of part 2 of the international and foreign horror film talk. We're going to have one of my friends on here who loves this type of horror movies, so he's going to help us recommend some cool titles to check out and just talk about international horror movies in general versus U.S. Films and why they're as good as they are. Mm-hmm. So for my bitch, really.
Oh wait.
Oh yes.
Also,
okay.
We have a holiday special for you too. We just have to do it at some point.
Oh man, yeah, that's right. Oh my god, we do have to do that. I totally forgot. We are going to be doing a St. Patrick's Day special for you guys. Yes. Oh, okay. We got to figure that out.
Yeah. I got some stuff to share with you.
Okay, very good.
But yeah, we'll bring that to you this weekend.
Okay. All right. So for the Bitch Really of the Week, I chose a scene that happened in Ravenous that I just saw. I was utterly pissed. And it was just more of a confusion as to why it was being done. So if you see this movie, maybe you can retract it and be like, oh, he actually didn't do anything bad, but it involved the one and the only black character in the film.
I feel, they kind of like show you in the trailer that it's not going to go well.
So this was unexpected to me. I didn't really think it was going to happen this soon in the movie. But he's paired up with one of the main stars who you see throughout the film. It's just these two guys. And like I said, the sort of plague has already started. So they're already used to taking these people down. And I don't know if they're patrolling or if they're out searching for other survivors or they're just having fun and having more to kill. But they're driving, and the character in question, I think his name is Vesnia, he asks his friend to stop the car, and it's the woods. You don't really see what he's asking for, but he gets out the car, he goes alone into the woods. I don't know what he's looking for, but he sees this mom and this kid, and they're just standing there. And then he turns around and he looks back, and the mom is gone, but the kid is still there. All of a sudden, he looks up, and then the camera zooms so far into the trees. There's this little boy just hanging out in the trees, just hiding, waiting to pounce. All of a sudden, it goes to our main star, and then he just hears a gunshot. And I don't know exactly what happened, but it tails back, and the mom is like giggling and laughing and like looking at this guy, and then she's shot, but then he's holding his neck as if the shot either ricocheted off her and went into his neck. I don't know what happened, but these kids all start coming out of the woodworks chasing them, and he makes it back to the truck, and then they just lay there, and then he's bleeding out of his neck and he dies. And it's just like, why the fuck were you in the woods? Why did you ask to stop the car? Who were you looking for? Bitch, really? Why did you go in there alone? It was just so many things that just did not make sense, and they just killed this guy for no reason at all. It was just a really dumb scene. It was unwarranted. It was just ridiculous. And if anything, if you don't watch the whole movie, just watch the first 5 minutes, you'll see it. And it's just ridiculous. It was just such a waste of a character.
It sounds like it, and that's a little disappointing to hear. Just from international horror, like Quebec is not like a Whitey McWhiterson place. There's brown people there, so I'm sure it's the same kind of issues that happen in America, where you go to a movie and it's like, oh, the black character's dead now. 5 minutes into the movie, great. All right. Well, yeah, that's unfortunate.
It is. But again, I still recommend this movie. I thought it was great. So,
okay.
Yeah. And hopefully by this time on our next episode, I will have seen The Strangers. So I'll give a little feedback on that, see if it's any good. And, yeah.
I'm trying to see A Wrinkle in Time, even though people have been saying all kinds of bullshit.
I've heard some stuff, too.
I'm still going to see it. I don't care.
I'm still going to go, yeah.
Oprah's in it. How bad can it be? All right, guys. Well, happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you.
Thanks, Rob. I'm totally having a party, but, no one's coming.
We'll see.
We will see.
Only the important ones will be there.
Yeah, me. By myself.
People are going to show up. Don't worry about it.
I think we're alone now. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in as always. And we'll catch you next time on Bitch I Ain't Scared.